there, boys and girls? Welcome back to the channel. Today I got for y'all a little bit of some fucking earism, if that's even a fucking word. I'm joined with two of the homies. We got Kakoma-san and we got Cam Newton.
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Professional? He's rich.
If you didn't see last upload, I reacted to the Spider-Man No Way Home trailer. That shit kind of going up in the views, almost at 100 views. I mean, I fuck with y'all. Y'all go crazy. So my cousin thought it was a good idea to look at the trailer breakdown, see like what information they pulled from the trailers and whatnot. I was gonna refrain from it, but he dragged me in, so we just finna get straight into it. Let's get it. Y'all boys ready? It's finna get spicy in this motherfucker.
Welcome back to New Rockstars. I'm Eric Boss, and this is a breakdown of the new trailer for Spider-Man No Way Home, which confronts Tom Holland, Peter Parker, with Doc Ock, Alfred Molina from Spider-Man 2, 2004, Green Goblin, Norman Osborn, Willem Dafoe from the Raimi trilogy, Electro, Jamie
He kinda hot.
from the 2014 Spider-Man 2, Sandman, Thomas Hayden Church from the Raimi movies, and the
Yes,
Legend of
sir.
Reese Ivans from the 2012 Amazing Spider-Man, not to mention Doctor Strange. But this
Oh,
trailer
hell no.
Hey,
because
dog man.
doubt Peter's facing all these threats by himself. That's right, his backup, Sonic and Shrek. I'm gonna go through
Who?
He terrible for that one. I ain't gonna cap. Disgusting.
That was kinda musty.
But I wonder why he didn't get killed by what's it called, by Dr. Octopus in the beginning, low key.
I've only had 1 week. And my life has felt normal. That was when you found out.
We open on sad Peter Parker, his face bruised and bleeding, tears and rain. Seems like the end of the movie, so who is Peter mourning? Who's gonna die? Well, the trailer suggests MJ, but it could just as easily be like Ned, Ant-Man,
Yeah, she gonna get Gwen.
or Shrek. This could also be an ending where Peter, in order to save those he loves and those
Hold on. Who y'all think he mourning over?
I think it's the auntie.
But, I mean, I may finish. I mean, she bad. She got to go first. I ain't gonna cap.
You think it's the
That's my
auntie?
situation.
I think. It's
Yeah, I mean, I don't think they would do the same thing. They look like they're recreating scenes from all the Path movies. To be honest,
that's what I'm
So I don't think
saying. Because that scene that they just showed where she was falling, that was in Spider-Man 3, and he saved her.
You right?
And also, it was in that Amazing Spider-Man when she got her fucking back snapped. That shit. Was crazy.
yeah.
I don't know if they're gonna kill her.
He making sense. I like it.
But the aunt has never died, bro.
I think it's the auntie, bro. I ain't gonna hold you. I
She
believe
ain't
it's
never
the
died.
auntie. I believe it's the
like a
auntie.
bad, but like,
Well, they killed the baddie though. That's a real.
The
question.
baddie always gotta go, bro.
bro, the auntie.
In every
What
movie.
you mean?
Every movie.
She can get with me. She.
All right,
Auntie, you know what I mean?
let's get back into it.
Shit. My mom was late. What's up?
Exile himself to a reality in the multiverse where he is a stranger with no way home, where it rains a lot, called Seattle. Peter tells MJ that the week between her finding out that he was Spider-Man and Far From Home and Mysterio and J. Jonah Jameson outing him in the post-credit scene of that movie was his one normal week ever since the spider bit him. Now, this is only the second time Peter has mentioned his spider bite, an origin we never actually saw in the MCU, just kind of glossed over.
Bro?
You
got bit by a spider? Can it bite me? Well, it probably would have hurt, right?
But in No Way Home, you already had powers though, like the beginning of the movie.
How much?
So,
Spider's dead, Ned.
So No Way Home could finally be the film the MCU flashes back to the exact circumstances of Peter's spider bite, especially if this movie does introduce him to the Tobey Maguire and Andrew Garfield versions of the character whose bites and web slinging abilities took alternate forms. Peter and MJ swing past J. Jonah Jameson's Daily Bugle broadcast until it switches to his own face half-mast with Public Enemy number 1. Number 1? Does no one care that Nexus witches exist? Just go talk to those survivors in Westview or to Mr. Dell.
You know, being a man of science.
like that's just for this stuff.
Which is
And in the shot, you can see how MJ's hair is blocking Peter's view, and that nearly causes him to smack right into that screen. And only when it clears does he finally whip to the side. Then Peter and MJ perch on the Queensboro Bridge. You can see over to the side there, this is right next to the Roosevelt Island Tramway, the setting of
Ever
the
been to New York?
showdown with Tobey Maguire, Peter Parker in the first
Sheesh.
Spider-Man film. Let's move on.
Right.
You botched that spell where you wanted everyone to forget the Peter Parker Spider-Man. We started getting some visitors.
As Peter and MJ jump from that bridge, you can see MJ is wearing the same Joan of Arc t-shirt that she wore at the end of Far From Home.
What that shirt look? What's that? What's that shirt?
You said Joan of Arc?
Which, in addition to
The
being
famous
reflected
lady?
from Jay's feminine pride, was itself an Easter egg calling back Zendaya's Joan of Arc look at the 2018 Met Gala. Then they glide through the subway tunnels,
Yeah.
somehow missing Morbius despite his
Hi,
best
baby.
efforts to sneak into this universe. And obviously they do this to escape the helicopters tracking them, but also
Who the fuck was
following
that?
Cap's advice for how best to escape the city.
You take them through the basement or through the subway. You keep them off the streets.
Someone's been watching his cat PSAs. And then as they nearly run into a train for a brief second, the train screen flashes red and M, the M train. That's right, Spider-Man narrowly avoided the Mephisto train. Run all you want,
Or what?
Spider-Man.
Oh,
We
nah,
all
they
float down
ever
here.
since fucking what was
R.I.P.
that Scarlet Witch
earbuds.
fucking shit on Disney Plus, everyone's been saying about Mephisto for a while. Since what is that? I forgot what the shit's called though. The one they did on Disney Plus. It was pretty good, but wasn't as good as the Loki or some
Who
shit.
the fuck is Mephisto?
One line actually runs through Queens, so this train is likely coming from Queens, and Peter's just trying
Queens,
to get
New York.
home. But there's no way home thanks to Mephisto. Now, you'll notice Benedict Cumberbatch's
Musty.
audio sounds stitched together here,
When you botched that spell where you wanted everyone to forget the Peter Parker Spider-Man,
as many of his off-screen lines actually sound in this trailer.
there are others out there. We need to send them back.
They're starting to come through, and I can't stop them.
This is the first time for me in the Marvel universe.
Yes, sir.
I am guessing that Cumberbatch is just so
Bruh,
fluid with his line
we need
reads,
this.
with more revelatory terms bleeding into the trailer dialogue, making it harder to cut around. Now, the from-behind shot of Peter shows him wearing a dark blue jacket, clearly a different scene than the shot of Peter with the plaid shirt when the spell occurs. Him in the jacket actually matches with the shot of the first trailer where the lizard was swiping at Peter, so Doctor Strange may have actually caught the lizard on his own while Peter was dealing with Doc Ock and Goblin on the bridge. We see more of the exact moment that Peter tampers with the spell, causing the golden bands to tremble and then explode outward. And again, there are 4 of these bands, maybe for each of the 4 universes that get crossed over in this movie: the MCU, the Raimiverse, the Webverse, and the Venomverse. And as they illuminate the room, you can see that the blue murk that previously surrounded them dissipates. Presumably that was going to be the cold and drowsy humor that Doctor Strange was trying to conjure to just simply erase people's memories. But now the golden reality warp bands tear the room to pieces around them. Now that we've seen Venom Let There Be Carnage, that movie's post-credit scene seems to be showing a similar process. A bright golden light fills the room, and then reality warps the room's decor. That could explain why we have
True.
odds and ends in this dungeon later on. It's just a bunch of crap that got redecorated after the reality warp. I compared this imagery to Wanda Maximoff's reality warping in WandaVision, and I still believe
That's what it's
Strange
called,
might
WandaVision. I don't know why I
be
forgot the name
under
of it.
Wanda's spell, which is clearly what WandaVision was setting up, and could explain why Strange so willingly.
She has her
helps
own
Peter
movie
warp
though
reality.
with him later on, Multiverse
Wanda
of
is looking
Madness.
for a reality where her children could still be alive. Moving on.
From every universe.
What is that suit, dude?
I'm saying,
That shit looks like the one from like the game. Goddammit.
I love it. Green Goblin is here. He looms in through the smoke of his own pumpkin grenades, riding his glider. Meanwhile, Strange explains that these visitors are coming from every universe, meaning Doctor Strange might have been previously aware of alternate universes like the Raimiverse, which would give interesting meaning to the line he said to Tony Stark back in Infinity War.
Protecting your reality, douchebag.
Then Electro's bolts blast through the ground toward Peter,
Man.
who wears this new black and gold suit. This suit's kind of a mess. There's loose wires poking out.
Is that
duct tape
even
all over
Peter,
the
though?
place. Actually, later you can see
I
AJ
think
and
so.
Ned are on a smartphone duct taped to his chest, apparently FaceTiming all this. I am guessing
It looks
this
like him.
mission might be to catch Electro, and they have to do it in a way without Peter's Iron Spider
Oh,
armor,
yeah.
by turning his old suit inside out, so all
It's
the
a
wiring
rubber
is now
suit.
exposed. Or maybe his nanotech suit can't be relied on after he ran into Doc Ock. Or this could just be a new suit.
Doc Ock
that
look kinda
he
crazy.
is more resistant to
Nigga,
high.
Nah, I
OP.
think
Let's move on
his
to the
suit
next
turned inside out.
Damn.
You're not Peter Parker.
Maybe
Ah,
Doc
yes,
Ock helps
license
him.
plates. So I pointed out in past videos how the cars on this bridge seems to have specific license plates that could be pointing to specific comic.
the fuck you see that?
issues,
On
something
me.
Spider-Man director John
How the fuck you see that?
does in all of his movies. Here, Doc Ock
Hey, the fuck-
has a plate reading
Throwing shit up.
JND79WN, which doesn't seem to
I
directly
get that one.
translate to anything in particular, unless maybe you try to stretch J and D being for Jessica Drew, Spider-Woman, who did first appear in
That's a
Marvel Comics
stretch.
in 1970.
That's a
I don't know,
stretch.
bruh.
That's
He
a
be capping.
stretch.
He
Clearly
You capping now.
ASM 8183.
That's
John Watts
ASMR, everybody knows
always
that.
uses ASM to refer
Facts.
to Amazing Spider-Man, and then a specific comic book issue followed by the
Okay,
year.
could
But
be
this
true.
Could be interpreted
That could be
a couple
true, yeah,
different
that could be
actually.
true.
There was a Spectacular Spider-Man, not Amazing
Spectacular
Spider-Man,
Spider-Man?
issue 81 in 83.
A Cloak and
which
Dagger.
mixes
Yes,
up
sir.
Spider-Man with Cloak and Dagger, Punisher, and a certain bald baddie who's gonna come stomping into the MCU soon. Shrek! I mean,
Stone Cold
Kingpin.
Steve Hunt.
Yes, I have theorized that Kingpin Wilson Fisk could be
Stone
revealed in
Cold Steve
Hawkeye
Hunt.
and could be the
I mean,
sixth
I
villain of
really want to see a
Sinister
Daredevil
in this
crossover
movie.
Spider-Man because
But
I feel like
alternatively,
they're
there's
like
also
racing
an
close
Amazing
proximity,
Spider-Man
honestly.
number
Yeah.
183 that was released in August
And
8th
Spider-Man
of
fights
the year
Kingpin a lot, so I
1973,
don't know
in which Peter
what the
gets
fuck they're
attacked
doing,
by
to be
a
honest
big
with this.
wheel while Aunt May is hospitalized. This could just be a joke about how the wheel of this car is flying at Peter right now. But then beneath the bridge, Doc Ock jams his claw at Peter, and I love how John Watts uses a whip pan, the same kind of camera movement that Sam Raimi would often use for Doc Ock in the 2004 film. But notice how Doc Ock's arms now have a red and gold coating to them, and a chunk of Peter's nanotech is missing from his chest.
Oh,
He
he
actually has to
OP.
reallocate the nanobots from
He
his
stole
helmet
his
to chest
nanotech.
to protect himself from the blow, and a later trailer shot shows that Doc Ock straight up absorbs Peter's nanotech armor from his suit. And this is crazy.
Is Goku
because Doc
or
Ock
something?
comes from an alternate universe where Stark Tech does not exist.
But yeah, look, that makes sense. How the fuck he get that technology if he won back then, you know what I mean?
Only thing is that I feel like this Doc Ock is it's the one from this universe, but like another timeline as well. So it's like it's the same universe, but like a different. I don't know how to explain it, but it doesn't feel like this is the same Doc Ock from Spider-Man.
Yeah, it don't. Okay.
Exists.
But
how can he be compatible
we don't know.
with this tech? Well, if you think about it, his arms are actually controlled via a neural link that was fused to his spinal cord. And Stark nanotech seems to be controlled via a kind of neural link as well. So maybe
Yeah,
that
he was really
is how
busting down
Doc Ock
Thanos'
can
cheeks
hack
right there.
it. I'm just excited to see nanotech on the loose in the MCU. Could be a major plot point in shows like Armor Wars. Also, a little VFX detail that I appreciate. Peter's
What the fuck is
necktie
that?
dangles from the open nanotech hole where his chest is, but as that nanotech shifts and seals that hole, it tucks the necktie back in. Meanwhile, when Tom Holland's face is revealed, Doc Ock says,
You're not Peter Parker.
answering our questions from the first trailer as to why Doc Ock would see this version of Spider-Man and recognize him as Peter from his universe. It's just because Doc Ock saw
What
someone,
you
I guess,
said
who
is
looked like
right, bruh.
Spider-Man and assumed that would be
OG.
Tobey's face underneath. But what I like about this line is it does confirm the existence of a Tobey Maguire Peter Parker.
There's another Spooder-Man. There's definitely gonna see Tobey Maguire in this bitch.
Let's move on.
He's not gonna spoil it. It's gonna be with that final battle shit because he cannot fight all 6 of those damn villains. They are way too damn strong, bruh. He beats him one-on-one in the damn series.
Sounds
Though.
like the kids are okay boomering Doc Ock
I don't know.
about his
This shit got a
name.
bunch
I like
of
how Ned
multiverse
is holding
bullshit
a
coming in.
crossbow. Might have been something he picked up from Strange and Wong's artifacts that they used for things like vampire hunting, because we know a lot of these are coming in the MCU. Meanwhile,
Blade,
this necklace, I
there.
love this detail. It's actually a broken piece of the Black Dahlia necklace that Peter bought for her in Venice and later ended up broken when he gave it to her in that movie. She's so loyal. What a keeper. But I mean, it's MJ. She likes it better that it's broken. And then here we see how Doc Ock actually
Oh, hell
retains
no.
the red and gold nanobots from Peter's suit on his arms. He might have actually absorbed all of the nanobots for all we know. And then as Doc Ock turns his head, these claws, like snake heads, turn their heads too. We're not really sure how much these arms are listening to him or he's listening to them. I like to think they listen to me now. Next clip.
Okay, buddy.
He might need some help, but I like it.
So, Scooby-Doo this crap.
You know, all this is kind of your mess. I know a couple of magic words myself, starting with the word please.
True.
Please, Scooby-Doo
No.
this crap.
Okay, amazing set piece here. The freaking Statue of Liberty, keeping the tradition of landmark set pieces like the Washington Monument, the Venice Grand Canal, Tower Bridge in London, but now with huge cranes over it attaching a massive Captain America shield. You can see a
My
banner
boy, they
hanging
get
on the
iced.
scaffolding reading Lady Liberty, the newest Avenger, and you can actually see those words on a bus stop ad for it later on. Now, we just saw Liberty Island used as an example of how the world has gone to crap during the blip with all the loose boats moored up to it, but now it seems as though the government is using Lady Liberty as a way of celebrating the Avengers' victory. For when Cap stood his ground facing the abyss and found backup from opening portals behind him, as we pray Peter Parker will receive some backup from other Peters in this scene. If you
He should, I
remember,
mean.
This was kind of foreshadowed in Far From Home when Mysterio's illusion trapped Peter in a snow globe where the Statue of Liberty rose up beside him. And earlier, Peter stood among giant statues of his fallen Avenger heroes with him standing on a giant Captain America shield. Now, of course, course, using the Statue of Liberty as a final battle set piece has been something that pretty much all superhero movies have avoided because it was done back in one of the first big Marvel movies, X-Men in 2000, which is the Marvel movie where Kevin Feige got his start as an associate producer. We're coming full circle.
Oh, for real?
And
I didn't know that.
A deliberate reason for that? I'll get to it at the end of the video. Getting the answers to these questions is quite a quest for me. Yes, I feel like I'm on my own Campbellian hero's journey, and in my own life, I like to document my progress by staging it this way. And an awesome new thing to help me do that is Hero's Journal. Hero's Journal is here to help you accomplish your goals.
Not the ad,
the
please.
The Hero's Journal helps you discover the story on his wrist was probably given to Peter in order to snare villains like Electro, kind of like a Ghostbuster, using a proton pack and a trap. Then Doctor Strange tells them to Scooby-Doo this crap. Just another example of the MCU folding in all of pop culture into their universe, kind of like how Eternals just cited other Warner properties like Superman and Batman. And then a preview clip of Hawkeye mentioned Katniss Everdeen from Hunger Games. But Strange telling them to Scooby-Doo this problem does cast the script as a kind of mystery ink, like MJ would be Velma, Peter probably Shaggy, Ned Scooby, and Happy and Aunt May Fred and Daphne, they're useless and always
Come on, a dog.
Why don't you mind your own business, pal?
But like in Scooby-Doo, the kids of this movie might end up unmasking the real villain behind it all, which
Daphne Batty. That's all I gotta say.
More often than not, the old man Jenkins, who hired them in the first place. So just add this to the list of reasons to be super suspicious of Doctor Strange in this movie. He may be.
I don't think Doctor Strange is Doctor Strange's movie, to be honest.
For that meddling Nedlin. Moving on.
I think he got mixed up with somebody else from another universe. There's two strangers, goddammit.
To fight ghosts.
What do you mean?
They all die fighting Spider-Man. It's their fate.
So we see a combination of Electro and Sandman attacking cops and news vans, but now standing aside the Daily
Bugle
van
kind of
is
fire though.
J.K. Simmons as J. Jonah Jameson. Giddy smile on his face as he realizes he's getting a great scoop. And as Electro blasts away, you can see his humanoid shape flashing like lightning from spot to spot. Now, of course, his lightning color is now yellow, not blue like in the Amazing Spider-Man.
I was gonna say,
since Doc Ock can absorb nanotech, I think a lot of
these are not the same villains from these. They look resemble everybody, but I don't think none of these guys are the same.
They all got upgrades.
They're from different universes, goddammit. Like way different. They're not from the original Sam Raimi or the Spider-Man 2 Amazing Spider-Man universe at all.
He shuts up those kids for laughing about his name.
Because he said they're all dead anyways. But why would they come back?
Who should be dead?
So why are they alive?
Think that they're in some kind of purgatory or hell, and therefore they have nothing to lose. Doctor Strange says that all these people died fighting their version of Spider-Man, but that definitely wasn't the case for Sandman at the end of Spider-Man 3. Peter Parker forgave him and let him go, making us wonder, geez, Toby, what did you do after Spider-Man 3? Did Flynn Marco break your damn door?
Fix this.
I hate that boy. He ate Sandman.
After a pumpkin grenade, as it explodes in front of him, this actually looks like the lobby of that same building, the one with the police cars outside, the same one we later see Electro and Sandman outside of, in the lobby that Aunt May seems to be charging through. I also think, based off of the slots forming around it, that is where Happy Hogan is. So, between Happy and May, that's two very worrisome options for who this pumpkin grenade may be targeting. But Peter does seem to be wearing a new incarnation of his Iron Spider nanotech that probably protects him from this explosion. You can see that gold emblem stretching across his shoulders. That's completely new. The guy's got a million suits in this franchise. And in that shot, he appears to be talking to Aunt May after the explosion. So I'm thinking,
oh damn, Happy dead then.
Though? I don't know. But an explosion
trying to be the hero, goofy ass.
Green fire,
ain't no cause in that motherfucker. Happy gone.
On that piece in the lower right. So I'm wondering,
Happy is happy in heaven.
And then on the right,
he just wanted to bag on me.
Parker's homeless outreach organization, and it has a big hole torn out of the side of the truck, like someone might have used this truck as perhaps a Trojan horse that they burst out of in the attack. Moving on.
I'm sorry, kid.
Yeah, me.
You mean you're sorry?
Don't.
Ooh. He pushes so out of his body.
They're a danger to our universe.
So deciding that he does not want to send these villains to their certain deaths, either realizing that if he's worthy of redemption, so must they be, or after Mysterio, he doesn't want any villain blood on his hands, Peter thwips and snatches that green cube artifact as it levitates between Strange's hands. I'm assuming this is some kind of Pokeball pocket prison that Doctor Strange is either storing the villains inside of, or some kind of mechanism that allows him to return them to sender. I love this. Peter is strung between two portals. Strange must have tricked Peter by opening one portal in the direction he was already already thwipping, and then another one immediately behind him so that Peter ended up thwipping his own foot. Genius. But in this shot I mentioned before, Aunt May looks super emotional, and she's carrying some device. Looks metallic, cylindrical, and
Goddamn
glowing
phone.
green a bit. Could this be some form of Goblin's tech? Then Doc Ock tries to crush Peter's head, which then leads to the nanobot spreading across his mechanical arms. This actually might have been a defense mechanism by the nanobots to keep the claws from crushing the helmet, but then those bots fused with Otto's neural link, allowing him to inherit them. On to the next clip.
So this man stealing.
You're struggling.
Uh-oh. That's struggling from the first line.
Is bronze colored, not the green color we know today. And that's because when the statue was originally assembled in France in the 1880s, its
It was
copper
bronze,
plating
not
made it
green.
a dull brown color. And then over the next 30 years, it oxidized green, the color we now know it as. So maybe this statue is actually restored as part of its newest Avenger redo. Actually, in shots of Peter perched on the crown, you can see streaks of green in those spikes as if this oxidation was being scrubbed off. Then we get our first clear look at Jamie Foxx as Electro. He wears this chunky gear that seems to help conduct the electric current, and it all seems to be stemming from a chest component that almost looks like an arc reactor, like a spare one from
Ooh.
Stark's tech. Just be another piece of Stark tech that one of these Spidey villains could hijack and repurpose. He does seem to fire a powerful blast. It seems like it's a mixture of repulsor blasts. And then I love this, as the electricity courses over his head, it makes the yellow starburst shape of Electro's classic spark mast from the comics. Then we get a nice close-up of Green Goblin on his glider, as well as a quick flash of a goblin without his helmet wearing flight goggles. I'm just
Hobgoblin.
thinking this is a blurry Willem Dafoe face, because if alternate goblins or Hobgoblin was in this movie, I don't think they would reveal James Franco or Dane DeHaan Goblin in a shot like this. But you'll notice he drops in with a swarm of razor bats. You remember
Maybe
those
it's here to help him.
from the first Raimi film. And then a DoD
Damn.
SWAT unit swarms in on the building, Department of Damage Control. These are the authorities who arrested and interrogate Peter, and they seem to here be in the apparent aftermath of that green explosion. And then a juiced up version of Doctor Strange's spell blasts out from Liberty Island, expanding far into the sky. Maybe that cube broke open, causing the barriers between realities to open even wider. More thoughts on this in a bit, but on to the next clip.
This is all my fault. I can't save everyone.
Okay, so Electro, Sandman's giant face, and Lizard leap across the Statue of Liberty scaffolding towards Spider-Man, but clearly Lizard is jumping towards something else that must be positioned beneath Spider-Man.
Another Spider-Man, boy.
Actually, in the
me.
Brazilian version of this trailer, the cut was left long enough to show Lizard recoiling as if something kicked him in the head, something that was removed from the
They removed
There's a
it.
very good chance that
It's
a
all
theatrical
three of the
version
Spider-Man, I
scene
tell
that
you.
is going to be Andrew Garfield Spider-Man. Maybe Tobey
has
Maguire
to
Spider-Man,
be.
but Garfield Peter has a history with Lizard. Actually, Electro was also an Andrew Peter villain. Sandman was the Tobey Peter villain. Tom's really the odd one out here. But this shot just makes it seem like it's 3 versus 1, but compositionally, it makes far more sense for this to be 3 versus 3. Kind of like how the profile collision shot in Civil War was equal numbers on both sides. And when Peter tells Aunt May that he can't save everyone, I think the subtext of that is that he can't do it alone, and he's gonna get some endgame style backup from his Peter variants. Now, I fully respect Sony for not putting Tobey and Andrew in the trailer, but fans have been so ravenous with speculation. I think it's a foregone conclusion.
I mean,
at
we
this
already
point,
been
so
knew.
I think we're gonna scream like
Yeah.
Doc Brown when we see them. Let's move on.
And they dropped the shield. Damn. I think another Spider-Man
Wait,
saves her.
who?
I think another Spider-Man saves her. Actually, I think like Andrew or Toby saves her before she falls. Because if he grabs her with his thing, she's
At
gonna
this point,
she's gonna
I
die.
think we're gonna scream like Doc Brown. when
All
we
right,
see
wait, hold
them.
on.
Let's move on.
Who is that? Ned?
Yeah.
Okay, let's make it sure.
Why the fuck are they on there, low key?
That's why I was confused. Ned don't really be nowhere
So
like
the
that for
giant
real.
Captain America shield crashes through the scaffolding, causing
Yeah.
Ned and MJ to lose their balance, and MJ falls in slow motion with framing pretty similar to Gwen Stacy's fall in The Amazing Spider-Man.
That shit was terrible, bruh.
Is he gonna catch her?
Somebody made a
Well,
meeting
they're
that
asking who
I kind of
the
laughed at it,
actually
low key.
is.
I
It's
feel
definitely
bad.
Tom Holland, Peter Parker's hand, based on the glove design and the new suit he is wearing in the sequence. But the parallels to Andrew Garfield, Peter Parker, and Gwen Stacy's death are pretty strong enough here that it it would not surprise me if Sony pulls another VFX switcheroo and replaces Tom's hand with the life-saving grasp of Shrek. I'm kidding. Andrew Garfield.
I probably want Shrek. I think
to
you're a
let
little bit
another
sus,
Peter
big
Parker love
dog.
interest die the same way his Gwen Stacy did. And you'll notice that the two hands here are framed perfectly with One World Trade Center in the background, just as this building does, looming over Gwen Stacy's funeral in the 2014 film. Let's move on to the final clip.
But if he grabbed her hand and she that should save her, other than the web shit.
So it looks as though that spell that blasted outward from the Statue of Liberty has left this crack in the sky, like the cracks in space formed when the multiverse shattered in Loki,
Fucking
or
Loki.
the shattering of reality walls in What If. Now these cracks were once orange, like the golden bands of Doctor Strange's spell, but now a purple glow has overtaken the orange color as this glows in from what lays beyond. Purple has tended to be the color of dark magic in the MCU, the color of Dormammu in the Dark Dimension, the color of Agatha Harkness's dark magic. But the question is, what or who has started to come in through these cracks that Doctor Strange
Celestials,
cannot
nigga.
keep out? Well, interdimensional threats like
It's
Dormammu,
Dormammu.
Or Shuma-Gorath, or demons from the What If episode
Oh,
4
hell no.
always seem to be a threat to Doctor Strange. Maybe we're looking at a symbiote hive or Kang variants. I don't think it has to be one big threat, but like the Sinister Six spawning throughout the MCU, any number of out-of-place outsiders.
It just lets, I think it just lets more people in, so they're gonna let a lot more villains in after this movie. That's gonna help with the other MCU movies in the past.
Yeah.
The
So.
gateway to a new world for the tired, the poor, the huddled masses yearning to breathe free. A symbol chosen specifically for that X-Men final battle for that reason, as part of Magneto's plan to transform world elites into poor huddled mutants from a shining beacon in Lady Liberty's torch. No Way Home is clearly a prelude to Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness, which I'm pretty sure
Actually
is
gonna
going to
be
be the
godly.
MCU's version of the Scarlet Witch House of the M storyline, which is the nexus point of mutant
maybe.
existence in the multiverse. If we
I hope so, but they haven't
moment
used any of the
that
X-Men
break
before,
the
so I feel like that'd be a little
reality
bit too
curse,
much.
and if
Yeah.
Doctor
I have
Strange
House
is
of M.
angling
South of M is
for
like basic
Scarlet
extermination of
Witch,
all
which
the
we know
mutants,
from
to be
WandaVision
honest.
that he does, then Kevin
So-
Feige might have chosen the Statue of Liberty
Don't know how they're gonna do that.
specifically for that parallel symbolism as the place that he, when he got his start as a young associate producer on that X-Men 2000 film, personally shepherded Marvel superheroes to take a huge leap forward on the big screen, and he could be now bringing it full circle as a place mutant kind arrives on the shores of the MCU. Well, that is everything I caught in this magnificent
That'd
No
be
Way
pretty
Home
fire.
trailer, but we will be making plenty.
Damn.
That shit was pretty godly. That's pretty godly. I ain't gonna lie. That's a good theory, honestly.
They
A
got
little
me
cringe with
thinking.
the damn Shrek theories were a little bit too much. Shrek grabs him out. I'm like, alright, bruh.
Other
That's the
than
third one.
that shit makes sense though.
Oh, man, I
Damn.
can't wait to see. I was jotting down notes and shit.
He said I was jotting down notes. He about to debunk this motherfucker.
God, I gotta get this shit.
Oh, hell no.
That's funny. All right, let me know what you guys think in the comments down below about this whole multiverse and stuff.
All opinions, please.
Every single one. If you don't comment, I'ma come to your house and eat your cereal.
I'm grabbing the
Without
butter.
me?
I need my motherfucking butter for my toast.
Links in the description. Go follow my boys on Instagram. Subscribe to them on YouTube. We out this bitch.
Yes, sir.
Be
Take your time.
debunking.